I'm Dr. Laura Murillo. I'm President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Our next guest is a friend, but someone in the city of Houston who's worked really hard along with his lovely bride to make us so proud. Many years ago at our chamber offices, when I first started, State Senator Mario Gallegos and executives from the rodeo came to our offices as a request that the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce had. The conversation surrounded scholarships, and it also was a conversation regarding with the lack of diversity on the rodeo's executive committee and the hope that one day we would have members on the executive committee and hopefully someday running the rodeo, serving also as chair or chairwoman of the different committees, etc. And Juan, you and so many others have put countless hours and hard work to making these things happen. And you've made sure that scholarships are available for Houstonians, and not only through the Go Tejano Committee, which you serve as chair, but also on the executive committee now as the first Latino to do so. So my friend, congratulations to you and to your family.
Well, thank you. I know for years you've supported me individually, but also supported the rodeo, along with everything else you support here in Houston, Harris County. So thank you for the many years of friendship and support.
Well, it's a team sport. Also here at the chamber, we're a small team of 4, and the team works so very hard. Our board of directors do also because we need to all lift, and we lack representation. We lack representation across the board everywhere. And that includes even in law. And so another accomplishment is that of your firm. Tell us a little bit more about your trajectory to get where you are today, to have your firm and have so many great partners.
Well, thank you. Yes, I mean it's not to make it a long story, but I worked at a grocery store for 14 years, and decided I wanted to do something else. So I quit and went to law school. Did very well in law school and started at a big firm here in Houston. Was lucky enough to get hired and ultimately lateral to another, one of the biggest firms in the world. And about 8 years ago, decided to open my own law firm to represent individuals that have been injured, along with my law partner, who we've been best friends since the very first semester in law school. So we decided to go out on our own, and we started with just us two. Eventually, it was we hired a staff member, and now 7.5 years later, we have 5 attorneys, and we have a staff of almost 30 here at Johnson Garcia. So we're growing, and I attribute all to my staff. They do tremendous work and tirelessly effort for our clients, and so it's just I owe it all to them. They do a tremendous job.
Well, teamwork, as you mentioned, and you have certainly set yourself apart in terms of your community work, but running a law firm is no small task. And so we applaud you. And in addition, father to children, variety of ages there, which require a lot of time. And of course, your love for the University of Houston is very evident. And so for that and so much more, Juan, I just want to applaud you and take a minute to say thank you for all that you've done, and I know continue to do. What drives you?
Well, one is how much has been given to me. I mean, my parents came here from Mexico. My dad's from a rancho right outside Matamoros. He was the youngest of 15. My mom came from Tampico. They came here as Mexican immigrants, and they raised my sister and I. And we've just been given so much and so many opportunities along the way. And so I want to, try to give back some and create some of those opportunities. You mentioned the University of Houston. My wife Isela and I, we were one of the founding sponsors of Las Pumas, the mariachi group from the University of Houston, something we're extremely proud of. And seeing that just continuing to grow, and we continue to support it. We're so proud every time we go somewhere and we see them playing, and the kids that are capturing our culture and making sure that they stay with our culture is just something we're super proud of. And so seeing that return and what we've been given is what drives me. and the impact that we have on, seeing it at the rodeo, the families, of the kids, not only that received the scholarship, but their family members and their younger siblings that say they want to emulate their brother or sister that has received that scholarship. That's what drives me. And that's what keeps me going.
Well, and it's a big investment of time, and you've personally financially contributed to so many different areas. What would you like now that you will be serving in the executive committee? Is there one area that you would like to focus on? One area?
Yeah, well, as a committee member, executive committee member, obviously we're looking at more strategic decisions, right? But I think one of as what I've noticed is we as a rodeo have not voiced the accomplishments enough of what we've done. And not that there isn't room for improvement, but for example, of the scholarships that are given right now by the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and we're over 600 million in the lifetime of the rodeo, but currently right now, almost 40% of those go to Hispanic kids. That is an amazing stat that goes, and this is not just for Houston, it's Harris County and 9 other counties in the area. And so can we do better? Do I want it to be better? Absolutely. But I also want to voice the good numbers that we have and let know that the impact that the rodeo is having on the Hispanic community, the minority community, because over 50% of the scholarships go to minority students. And so I'm very proud of that. And one of the things I want to shout that out, but I want to make it even better.
Well, very well. And if you look around any night of the rodeo, we have filled many of those seats as well, right? As participants, and we're seeing the committees growing. Many of our emerging leaders are very involved. We had one even that was named the Rookie of the Year, Claudia, who's one of our emerging leaders. But again, Juan, to you and your family, for all that you do for Houston, we wish you continued success, and we appreciate the partnership with you all and the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and likewise, thank you for everything that you do for our city and for being such a great friend for many years.
Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo. Our next guest is Vanessa Scott, Dynamo and Dash. She is the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer. She's been very involved with the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we're so happy to have you with us, Vanessa. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murillo. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Absolutely. Well, what an exciting time for soccer. I know we've got the World Cup coming to Houston, and was honored to have served on the bid committee with Chris Canetti and lots of others, Janice Burke and others, to be able to bring that to Houston. And now the clock is ticking. I imagine that has to be good for Dynamo and Dash, correct?
Absolutely. Soccer is the number one sport in the world, and we're just trying to be a part of that here in the United States. And having the World Cup come not just to the US, but to our city is going to be amazing. And we're going to be involved every step of the way as much as we can.
Yes, because we realize that this is the biggest event in the world.
Yes.
And it's even, I can't even believe I get to say that, because it is, and from a financial standpoint, huge economic boost for our region. But specifically, let's talk about Dynamo and Dash. What are some exciting things that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so we are currently wrapping up the season here in the next couple of months. Our last Dash game will be towards the beginning of November 2nd, and our last regular season Dynamo game will be at the end of October. We are hopeful for the playoffs, so we are right there on the line racing for the playoffs. So we are very eager to kind of continue the postseason, and then a couple of initiatives here. We're kicking off mid-September, Hispanic Heritage Month, and the celebrations there. So we're hosting Noche Latina
Yeah.
at both our Dynamo and Dash games, which we're looking.
Correct. I know we're partnering. We can't wait to highlight entrepreneurs on the field. And I want to thank you, Vanessa, for re-engaging the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce with Dynamo Dash in a partnership. It's so very important, and we appreciate it, and we want to be supportive of you all as well. And it's a very valuable opportunity for both entities. So thank you for making sure that happened.
Yes, agreed. I am in alignment. I think, soccer and or football is such a big part of Hispanic culture. And so being able to bridge the two is amazing.
What else is on the horizon for you all?
Right now, we're really focused on playoffs. Aside from that, gearing up for 2025, we're looking to see what, big moves and shakes we can make
Yes.
to, again, get ready for World Cup and to bring more fans out to our stadium. Aside from the Dynamo and Dash, we also have minor league teams. We operate Shell Energy Stadium. And so there are various different international soccer events that we host there, various championship events. So we're just getting ready for all the events coming our way.
Yes. And I've been very impressed at how many women are involved with both Dynamo and Dash. What is your background and how did you get to this position, these two positions?
Yes. So I am proud to say that our leadership team, our executive team is majority female, and that is very exciting to be a part of. My background is in finance. I actually started working with the Houston Rockets and Toyota Center in my career and moved over to this organization, which I've been here for about 9 years and kind of just worked my way up through the finance industry where I got to see how the business operates from every different angle and have been able to apply that from both an operational and financial standpoint at my level.
Very well. Well, Vanessa, keep making us proud. Thank you for doing the work that you do. I know it's a tough business, and we're so happy to see so many women involved with the Dynamo Dash teams. We will see you very soon. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Goodbye. Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We've got some great guests lined up for us today, and we're going to start with Theater Under the Stars. Dan Connectus, Artistic Director, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Theater Under the Stars, tell us a little bit.
Theater Under the Stars started in 1968 out at Miller Outdoor Theater. It transitioned into a year-round theater now at the Hobby Center, and it's about 55, 56 years old. It's a Houston institution. We say it's Houston's home for musical theater.
There you go. And you've had some great productions, 50th anniversary back in 2018. You had Sweeney marking the 5th win in a row for the best musical and best director of a musical for Dan. Ugly Christmas Sweater, that must have been a lot of fun. So many great highlights under your tender. Frozen. Oh my goodness. Tell me about that real quickly.
Frozen is coming up. We are one of a handful of theaters across the country. I believe there's only 4 or 5 that Disney handed the license to do a production outside of the Broadway. And Houston was one. And that's because of that history and the long term run of really high quality shows. So it's coming in December. It's our own production. It's loosely based on my heritage. My mother is Swedish, so we base it on all the Scandinavian folklore. And we've got some great Broadway performers mixed along with our wonderful, wonderful Houston community and our students. We run 2 schools at Theater Under the Stars, and both of those schools are going to be represented on stage. It's going to be great.
Tell us about the importance of that. Why is that so important?
Well, part of it is how are we going to get the next Broadway star if we don't train them? And so that's part of the real reason that we do that. And also, Houston is such an amazing city because of its diversity, both racial diversity, but also diversity across the political spectrum, across all spectrums. And it's unique in the country. And that uniqueness needs to be put foremost in front of other people in musical theater. And Houston is primed and ready, and that's what we do at our schools.
And you're finding ways to make this much more affordable because you're competing with so much. So talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, and plus everybody's dollar counts so much more as the economy has squeezed us. I felt it personally. I'm sure you have too. And so we want to make sure that those dollars are maximized at Theater Under the Stars. So yes, we have specials going all the time. The biggest special, though, if you want to hear my pitch, is buy a season ticket. You get basically 2 shows for free. And if you don't go to all of the shows, you can give those tickets to your friends, somebody that works for you, somebody that you want to be working for. It's a great gift. So season tickets is the best deal out there, I say.
We need to support the arts, especially as we look at our schools, and so many things are changing, so many demands on our teachers and our administrators. And so we want to that. Now, here's what I'm excited about. I received your list of upcoming shows, so talk to us about those.
Yeah. So we launched the season with Dear Evan Hansen, Broadway award-winning, Tony award-winning show. We then open with next we open for Halloween, Little Shop of Horrors, which is going to be hilariously macabre and fun and bloody a little bit, I think. And then Frozen, of course, Ugly Christmas Sweater in the smaller theater here at the Hobby Center. Ugly Christmas Sweater, incidentally, is audience participation. It's 90 minutes, and you wear your sweater, and you might get called up on stage. Then
Ugly sweater already. I need to put that on my list to do.
Please do. And then we have Mean Girls. And then we have Waitress, which is going to be a co-production with the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle. And then finally, at the end of the season, if you twisted my arm, I would say it's my favorite of the season, is In the Heights. Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights. If he hadn't written Hamilton, In the Heights would be the pinnacle of his career. But it is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Well, Dan, to you and the entire team, thank you for keeping the arts alive. Thank you for your passion and your team. We look forward to seeing you at a future Chamber of Commerce event. And if not, I think I'm going to see you with my ugly sweater.
Great. Thank you so much.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. For a very long time, decades upon decades, we've been working very closely with Houston Community College. We have seen the campus grow by leaps and bounds. We have seen so many leaders take the helm to do incredible work for our city. Today, we're happy to introduce the latest chancellor of Houston Community College, who has a long history in education. She's none other than our guest here today, Chancellor Margaret Ford Fisher. Thank you so much, Dr. Fisher, for being with us. We are so proud of you, your long-term trajectory in education, and now the opportunity to lead Houston Community College.
Well, thank you so very, very much, Dr. Murillo. I am just so delighted to be here. I'm honored, very, very proud to be here in the interview with you. And I want to congratulate you for the great work that you are doing and leading with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and for the city of Houston as well. I am just really very, very impressed by you and the work that you're doing with the chamber in order to serve our community as well. So this forms a great partnership, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Houston Community College, to move that trajectory higher.
Absolutely. And in order to do that, one of the great advancements that I'd like to hear about is the 88th Texas Legislature recently met, and there are some changes that will impact community colleges. Tell us about that.
Sure, absolutely. House Bill 8 is one of the changes that is a welcome change, of course, for the college, for our community, and for the city and state for that matter. This allows us to focus on credentials of value, which means then that we are looking at offering those credentials that will lead to high wage jobs for residents of our community. We've always had the continuing education programs, but we're looking now at high demand occupations. This allows us to work much more closely with business and industry and with our communities. And what we will find is that we will be able to offer short-term stackable certificates for the residents of the community to get jobs and then to get employment in some of the high demand fields where there is a great need right now. And as you well know, the state of Texas is focusing on a talent strong Texas. And so here in Houston, we're focusing on not just the talent strong Houston, but the talent strong Texas as well. Because we know that the way Houston goes, given that we are the largest city in the state with the population and with the students in need and the residents who are in need of career opportunities, that will be the way that the state goes as well. And so that is why we are focusing on House Bill 8. We're working closely with the public schools, with business and industry, with chambers of commerce, with civic clubs. Throughout our community, we're outreaching to make available that opportunity for the residents because we believe in access, success, and then economic and social mobility for all of the residents of our community.
As with everyone across the globe, COVID had major impacts and also many opportunities to improve and learn. What were some of those takeaways for Houston Community College?
Well, one of the takeaways for us was that so many of the residents within our area were unable to continue their education, primarily because they did not have the technology available to them. They did not understand nor know about the learning management system. Everything for the most part was closed. There was a lot of learning loss. And so we were able to work with partners, and that's why partnerships are so important. We were able to work with partners in order to secure the computers, the bandwidth, et cetera, to support so many of our residents who at least knew how to use the technology so that they could continue their education. So we recognized the need then to provide that support for all of the residents of our community. And so our Board of Trustees approved digital access centers where in 10 locations, all of the residents of our community who are interested in coming in and learning whether or not it is to go into the campus to take a class face-to-face or to go into the center to learn how to use the learning management system. We have all of the support systems and the wraparound services available to them. And so let's just take as an example, Dr. Murillo. We have the residents who come in and they want to take a class on campus. They are able to take that class, and perhaps there's another class that they want, and that class is not available on campus at that time. They can then go into the Digital Access Center. There will be staff members there who will help facilitate their learning how to use that technology to help them to get online so that they can complete their coursework. We have the free education classes for the community as well. Community learning, where they can come in and learn how to use the technology, learn our learning management system, which is Canvas or Eagle Online. And so we are open to serve the community because we embrace our mission, we embrace our communities, and we want to do all that is required to ensure that we're able to elevate the lifestyle through education and training for all of the residents of our communities that are interested in making sure that they can create a better life for themselves and for their families.
All very important work. And I think the other important thing to note is that your campuses are throughout the greater Houston region, accessible, bilingual, affordable, still today, in a time when we know that colleges and universities have become just, for many families, unaffordable. And so we thank you for allowing so many people not only to get an associate's degree, but also certifications and just continuing education. Let's talk a little bit about that, please.
Well, the certifications are really critically important for so many of the residents of our community. And you are so right about that. And that goes back to House Bill 8. What we see is that many of the companies are looking for persons with micro credentials or certifications that will upskill them and allow them to work in business and industry. We are working with companies with respect to the apprenticeships that are available as well. So if we take one example, if, for example, you have a resident of the community who's interested in becoming a phlebotomist, as an example, and this is just one of many examples, for 3 courses that the resident could take, that person could then become certified to become a phlebotomist. Now, we find that with the 22 locations that we have and the 7 colleges, one of them is an online college, that the residents have access to education and training via the House Bill 8 that was referenced earlier. This then folds into the high demand workforce, where they're looking for individuals with industry certifications as well. And there are various funding levels, of course, that are associated with it. But as has always been the case, HCC is interested in making sure that every resident of our community has the education and training necessary in order to make a good life for themselves and for their families. Funding comes next because we make sure that all of what is needed in terms of the wraparound services are available for the residents of our community. So those certifications are there. We work with the dual credit students as well, and there is a funding associated with that, because what we want to do is to make sure that the students who are taking dual credit courses, that they will have a degree plan where they can also move forward and transfer to a 4-year institution after they complete their associate's degree here in an early college high school program or dual credit program, that they will have that seamless pathway for that. And there's funding associated with that. But we recognize that it is very important for all of our students to have that personalized learning that we focus on. We also support the academic rigor and integrity that is so critically important, because if our students choose the pathway to a 4-year degree, as an example, they will be just as competent, perhaps even more so, according to the data that we have received, once they transfer to a 4-year institution, in many instances, more competent and more qualified and capable of completing those higher level courses than students who began at the university as a freshman.
And
So
that's
we're
what we
very
want.
proud.
We want them to graduate. Recruiting them is one thing, retaining them and getting them to completion and graduation is the goal. So Chancellor, thanks for all that you do. We appreciate you and the entire team at Houston Community College. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.